That is not the way to introduce yourself. You don't say, "Hey baby girl, snake tongue." Like what happened to, "Hey, do you remember me? Nice handshake." No, he goes what is he doing? Man, so I don't talk about the show for 1 week, and I swear, the way people were acting was like I was their father who never came back with the milk, even though I said I would. I do appreciate it because the show's amazing. I just didn't have a lot to say after last week's episode, minus the fact that it was crazy that apparently Yao Mei is actually a character who was physically changing and it wasn't just an internal struggle. But then the latest episode, we now have our answer. We've known that the city was destroyed from the outside. But I guess my biggest hunch was that, you walk into the city and you maybe a beam up, a mental link, something, right? Maybe there was a facility, certain people were hooked up. No. So we are in this weird reality, not reality thing where the pizza delivery man can see two of them, but can't see our girl. Also can't see the city as we see it. So not only do we get the confirmation that she is indeed a fake of some sort, she's become what is known as generic, but I think the craziest thing is apparently this city's been destroyed twice. IRL, Kowloon was tore down, it was destroyed. That's what this show's based off of. But we've also been under the assumption that this is the replacement. No, apparently the replacement was also destroyed because it was an illegal thing. So then it seems like this Terra thing in the sky is responsible for the false reality. And as we see, characters like Yao Mei could freely come and go. But those who are fake, those who have been maybe invented by this device, can't. And then we have this whole situation where it's like, is reality shattering? We have more earthquakes. Is it linked up to Kudo and his mental state? You then have the story of someone who knows this isn't his original lover, his wife or fiance, whatever ended up being. Looks identical to her, but he does treat her as her own person, not a replacement. But is this still this is the most conflicting show, man. It is not going where I thought it was. It's not what I initially signed up for. I thought I was like, oh, it's going to be a twist on a romance. And I guess in one hand it was, but it is anything other than a generic romance. My brain trembles. I don't think we're ever going to see a show quite like this. And maybe this is too bold for some people. I frankly don't give a damn. To me, this show's hitting in a way and making me think and process in similar ways to stuff like Serial Experiments Lane. Like, that's how good this show is to me. And I already know there's going to be some elitists, some purists who say, how dare you? Like, I might like it, but that's going too far. Listen, it's the beauty of an opinion, right? But I don't think I've ever, at least in the past 5 years, I want to say ever, but I'm going to say at least the past 5 years. I don't think I've ever made that comparison. Well, there might have been a couple of shows. Like maybe earlier into like Wonder Egg Priority, Train to the End of the World, but those are still different. Like this, there's something special about this and the way that I can't comprehend the reality of this show. Nor do I know how it's going to end. My assumption is it's going to be at least bittersweet, but I'm kind of expecting tragic. I think the whole thing's going to shut down. I was hoping personally, even though I know they got it across, I was really hoping to see it from his perspective. I wanted to just see those two standing there and not her. Like, and I also wanted to see just the destroyed buildings and stuff. My question is, like, they point this out. Yao Mei eats with Kudra. So, we know it's based on that thing in the sky, right? The terror or whatever the hell they call it. Is it a situation where, like, once you're in there, is it almost like you enter a state of paralysis? But it can't be, because now we see that they walk around. So, like, do they see things the way they want to see it? But in that case, how are they eating? How are they going to bed in comfy beds, but secretly they're sleeping in rock piles? So there's a lot of uncertainty about what's happening here, but it definitely feels like it needs to be shut down. If it was a simple state of they were uploaded to something living in false paradise, I mean, let them do what they want to do. But if this is actually a tore down city where people are not actually experiencing what is there, that can't be healthy. And I feel like the grand punchline is going to be Kudo accepting that he has to move on, and her probably saying that as despite me being real for me, I clearly can't exist if I can't even leave this area. And I think it's all going to shut down by the end, but I don't know. The strangest thing too, this is a 13 episode production. It is a full story. We are getting an ending. And most of the episode, I thought to myself, well, I like this story of this creepy snake bastard. You would think, given the limited runtime, they wouldn't have time to dedicate to him, or hell, even Yaume in the previous episode. And then by the end of the episode, they remind you, hey, we don't waste any minute. We're going to make sure the characters that are on screen are well fleshed out and developed, and we still going to bamboozle. Every damn episode ends with some sort of twist on the narrative. And I'm like, how? How are you not jumping the shark? How am I not used to your bullshit yet? You know, it's really interesting because the end of, or closer to the end of the previous episode last week, we get the confirmation that the whole, like, identity thing, right? So she was kind of, like, worried about, opening the door and seeing her friend because she wasn't who she was. I thought it was more of an internal struggle, and they were just showing her as her old self because of that, but it turns out no, like, she actually changed. And now seeing the end of this latest episode is making sense because this is all a false reality. But it's not as simple like they're uploaded to the cloud, like somehow real people and projections are interacting in Rubble and seeing it as the replacement of a replacement Kowloon, and most are in on the bit. And those who are seemingly are getting penalized because Snake Guy, forget his name, he like passed out from heat stroke, and he mentions how it could be because he's more aware of Kowloon, and maybe it's like pushing back and fighting against him, almost like trying to purge a plague, a disease. This devices like blood cells are trying to push away the disease. I don't know. I'm telling you, this show's amazing and it's criminally underappreciated. At this point, it's got to have a dark ending of some sort. And I unfortunately believe Kudo's going to lose not once, but twice. Poor guy. You let me know your thoughts and theories, feelings, and disbelief on this show the past couple of weeks, because it's been damn good. But don't worry, unlike your dad, I came back for now. Let me know your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell. Of course, we do got the Patreon where we got those full live reactions on all these episodes. And of course, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. All right, so today we got Connor Reeves, TMG Gaming 999, Jord, Jacob McDougal, and we also have Sage Narf. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.